Hello, everyone. I'm Rick Owen, your guide once again for the walkthroughs brought to you by Knights of the Braille. Today we find ourselves in Thunder Tree, a village that used to boast of 90 plus citizens back in its heyday. You can find what remains of Thunder Tree in the North Sword Coast region and more specifically in northwest Faerun. This village was developed and founded back in 1365 DR, and in 1451 DR, the volcano that you can see to the south erupted and covered the city in both hot lava as well as ash from the eruption and the burning trees as well as wooden buildings that were once located here. Some of the items that you can still find here, and I say items because there are very few things that are still whole here, and we're not really sure what they once were, as nature has begun to take back what is rightfully its possession. There are, however, still some stone buildings that were mostly made of stone, and in the distance, in the center of town, you can see the statue of the elf warrior, as well as two other very tall buildings, which is the wizard's tower to the east from our vantage point here, as well as the lightning tree, which is rumored to be a favorite altar spot of Maelstrom Stormfury, the Forgotten. The mount known as Mount Hoddinot erupted back in 1451, and no one had any indications that this was a volcano. Some citizens were able to escape, those that were on the outskirts, but the majority of the citizens were unable to escape and thus lost their lives. And as we walk into this ghostly type village here, you can tell that vines, trees, other vegetation, as well as spiders and spider webs cover pretty much the entirety of this abandoned township. Walking here and to our left is the army barracks that were used to house some of the military here, and it is rumored that a elven eldritch knight once went in to this barracks in search of a unicorn. Legend has it that he believed in the unicorns, and that was his main goal, was to find one and show it to the world. Whether or not he was successful, perhaps you will find out later on in this episode. Now, as we walk near this barracks here, one can almost hear, I'm not sure if the microphones will pick it up properly or not, but there is groans coming from inside, and uh, some of the inhabitants of Thunder Tree now are what we would call ash zombies. So, to basically be able to protect myself and bring you more videos in the future, we're going to continue walking down the path here and stay away from this two-story stone building. Thankfully, it is stone, or else the zombies may come out and get something to eat, which is me, and I think that is kind of harmful to my well-being. To our right here, we do get a great glimpse of the lightning tree, which, as I aforementioned, was rumored to be a very favored altar spot of Maelstrom Stormfury, who worship the goddess of the storms. And as you can see by the tree here, whose majesty still outweighs many other trees in the Forgotten Realms, several times lightning has struck this tree. So perhaps this is where he would bring many different sacrifices. Continuing to walk down the main street here, we are going through all different kinds of vegetation because it has overgrown what was once the road. And we continue to walk here, and in front of us you can see a structure that was mostly wood but did have some stone in the corners there because that is all that is remaining here, along with a stone ceiling over the porch whose wooden slats have long since decayed. You can still see the sign swinging back and forth that has what appears to be a horse on it. I'm sorry I cannot give a better description there, and as we walk closer, it really doesn't give us much of a better vantage point because rust and time and weather have basically faded any kind of paint there. But if the legend that we're looking at here, the map legend of Thunder Tree that we managed to discover in Finland is any indication, this should be where the Brown Horse Tavern was located. They boasted of a mushroom ale, which was one of Maelstrom, Stormfury, the Forgotten's favored drinks. And they also boasted of a Brown Betty dessert as well as goat stew. Many people would travel just to get their Brown Betty dessert, which was, like I said, rumored to be one of the best things you could possibly eat in the Forgotten Realms here. And you can almost still hear the revelers inside there. But to continue with our walking tour, we continue walking here, and you can see that the statue is getting closer, and it does appear that it is a elf warrior carrying a shield and a rapier. Uh, we are not sure who this warrior is or was, due to the fact that the plaque has been stolen off of the statue. At least that does appear to be what has happened from this vantage point. But we will get there closer in time. So let's continue to walk here, and as we walk towards the statue, you can see that the wizard's tower is beyond there, and appears that there is some vegetation there, but from this vantage point, we cannot get a very good glimpse of it. So let's continue walking down the main drag. At least I hope that's what this was. Um, Here on our left, we have Dani's Gaming Parlor, which was basically a place where people could go to let off steam, playing games of chance, such as any dice game that you could possibly think of, such as Greed and a game called Yahtzee. You could also play any kind of card game, and pretty much anything that you could think of there, you could play for a game of chance and hopefully make some money or lose your money. Their motto was win some, lose some. And as we continue walking here, on our right we have Chris's Concoction. and the legend states here that everyone called him Big Chris because he was a big part of the community, I guess. I'm not really sure. It doesn't give a description here of himself here, but the Chris's concoction had elixirs, spirits. If you knew the right password, you could get some poisons if there was, certain need for it. You could find things to help tend your garden, as well as he was able to bottle acid in case there was any locks that had rusted shut. And walking on down here, about 100 foot down as we approach, is what, according to the map, was Jim's General Store, which is where you could find all kinds of dried goods, such as dried meats, dried beans, uh, rice, and other non-perishable food items like that. And you could also find cooking utensils such as frying pans, iron skillets, forks, spoons, and things that you would need in basically your everyday kind of life. And to the right is the remnants of the waddling duck, which is basically just a cornerstone now. Uh, and like I said, I'm not sure that this is the actual location here, as vegetation has overtaken this spot, but if we are following the map correctly, this does appear to be where the location would be. And let's see if we can dig through some of this vegetation and ash here. Let's see. Yes, here we do have a sign that, while it has seen better days, the sun and weather have not completely eroded away a metal sign with a blue duck on it. And so this was the second tavern of Thunder Tree, and any village must have at least two different places to drink, and this was the second here. It was said that they had a very good drink known as the Duckbill Platypus. Not really sure what it was, but there's a notation here uh, stating to check out the Duckbill Platypus. So perhaps it was a good drink. We will never know here unless somehow someone can find a recipe. And as we continue walking, we can now, coming into view, is a tree that does appear to be guided in growth and has the appearance of a like a lean-to, a kind of tent kind of guide to it or shape to it. And this is perhaps where the Druid is rumored to live. As we get closer, maybe the Druid will be home and we can have a conversation with her. And on the other side of the road, we have a Cots and Pots, which, according to the notation here, just all that is here in this spot is about 7 spider egg sacs, it does appear, and there's quite a large amount of rather large spiders here that do appear to be looking at us. So we will not get closer and inspect here, but it was said to be both an inn as well as a restaurant that was famous for its casseroles and delivery service. That if you lived in the village and filled out and had their app, which is their application that you had to fill out, they would deliver to you. So you had to meet certain requirements. So I'm sure that that was a very popular thing to have here at the Cots and Pots. And as we near what I believe to be the Druid's hovel, um, her name, if what we were told back in Fandolin is correct, is Riidus. I is how the person told me. Riidus. Um, maybe we can get her to introduce herself if she's home. Her home appears as though it is a tree, and it does appear that actually it is a tree that has been guided by her. So we will let's go and knock on the door and see if she's home. She is indeed home. So can you tell us anything about Thunder Tree?
This was once a thriving community.
Can you tell us what their main income was?
Their main income came from the destruction of forests.
So since their main income was logging or lumber or dealing with wood, and that obviously put a unbalance to the nature. Of course, you would know better than me, but do you think that's why the volcano erupted and this is why Thunder Tree is what it is now?
Yes, I do believe that is one of the reasons it's in the shape it is now.
That that does make a lot of sense. But with the only other inhabitants here being the ash zombies, spiders, and what lives in the vegetation as well as nature here. Basically no other humanoid creatures other than the zombies. Why are you here?
I'm here because I must try to bring balance back.
Well, maybe you can help me out here since I've doing this walkthrough here for Knights of the Braille. I was trolled by a drunken Luxodon barbarian that you know that there was a dragon that lived here.
Oh, you've not yet seen the dreaded Venom Fang?
Wait, that there really is a dragon? Oh, what can you tell me about this dragon? What'd you say his name was? Venom Fang?
It is a young green dragon, which has a nest somewhere near the old wizard's keep.
Well, I wasn't sure if the rumor was true about a druid living here. Is it okay with you if I continue doing this tour here in the remains of Thunder Tree?
Sure, you are welcome to go wherever you wish, but do be careful of spiders. And of course, Venom Fang.
Oh, thank you so much.
I bid thee farewell and safe travels.
Well, that was a pleasant little visit. And we continue walking here. We're getting very near the Wizard's Tower, and there's a vast area in front of here. And according to the history books, the Wizard's Tower was in order to keep a guide or a lookout over the entire village of Thunder Tree, and was also as a very prime location for a line of magic so that the wizard that inhabited the tower of the time could get in contact with King Octuran. So the tower, as we approach, and there's lots of spider webs. The ground is basically white as though it's snow, and the webs are likely mixing with the ash here as we approach the tower that has definitely seen some better days, but um, from what we can see here, uh, it still appears to be very much intact. And as we walk up on the stone porch outside, the door does appear to be made of a different kind of wood. Perhaps it is protected by some kind of enchantment or spell. But let's see if let's see if we can go in and get a good look inside this tower here. And as we open the door, and it's very dusty inside here, but I am getting the sense that something indeed does live here, and I'm not sure if I want to go much more inside here, or if I would like to get back to my base of operations. But let's see, we'll walk up here, and I will do it for each of you. Going up this staircase here, you can see some symbols on the floor off to a room to our right that does I can't read runes, so I'm not really sure what they say. But we walk up the staircase here, and it's a very steep staircase here, going around like in a circular staircase kind of way. Although it's not exactly a circle, it's more like a like angled up to give a better description of it. And we get to the top here. Oh, this is a beautiful view of the mountains, and you can see the volcano in the distance there. Oh, this is beautiful. I can almost see Phandalin here, and looking off, I can see the mountains. Oh, they're just absolutely beautiful. And there is a nest here, everybody. There's that appear to be like some limbs, and the smell is awful because there's bits and pieces of animal flesh, and there is some shimmering, which does appear to be gold and silver and things like. As we look here, yes, you can see the gold and the gems glinting off of the sunlight there. Look at the size of that hoard of treasure. And did you hear that? I do think that I hear some flapping in the distance. So before this venom thing decides to come back, I think it would be best if we cut this tour off right here. And everyone who watches this, be sure to like, share, and subscribe so that we can have more of these videos in the future.